Welcome to page 4 in Excel packet number 3. On this page, we're going to study the distributive property. Let's take a closer look. Please take down these notes on your page number 4. When we distribute, we may be asked to distribute something like this, a positive integer, two times the quantity, 3x minus 5, or a negative integer, negative 2 times the quantity, 3x minus 5, and you also have to be able to distribute fractions, such as 3/4 times the quantity 4x minus 8. And lastly, you also have to be able to distribute decimals, such as this. 0.6 times the quantity 3x minus 1.5. So hopefully, at the end of all of this, you'll be comfortable distributing a variety of rational numbers. But let's focus today on distributing negative integers. In your notes area, please jot down this problem. Negative 2 times the quantity 5x minus 3. Now we know if this were just a 2 without the negative, we would distribute the 2 to each of the terms inside the parentheses, and we would double those quantities or multiply by 2. But since we have a negative, the effect of the negative is to change each term to its opposite. If the term is positive, it becomes negative. If the term is a loss or negative, it becomes positive. That's one way of looking at it, thinking of the negative and the 2 separately. Or you could just use the rules for multiplying integers. Let's apply the Margar rules. If you take a negative 2 times a positive 5, you get a negative 10x. And when you take a negative 2 times a negative 3, you get a gain of 6. Your answer is negative 10x minus 6. Jot this problem down. Negative 3 times the quantity negative x plus 4. Now, we know that this x is a single loss of x. Please put a 1 in between the negative symbol and the x. Draw your arrows to indicate distributing and multiply. I like to think of 3 and the negative separately. We know the 3 will triple that amount, but the negative is going to change it to its opposite. We get positive 3x, and then the 4 becomes 12, but remember, it's going to flip to its opposite. Your answer is 3x minus 12. Before we jump in to the bottom of the page, try this next one. Negative 5 times the quantity, negative 6 plus 2x. Pause the video, take a moment, and try this one on your own. You should have gotten 30 minus 10x. Or you can switch the terms using the commutative property and rewrite it this way. Negative 10x, the loss travels with the 10, plus 30. That's also correct. Now let's look at the problems at the bottom of the page. Let's take a look at some tips and tricks that we need in order to distribute a negative. First of all, take a look at number 1. We see a negative out in front of the parenthesis. So please fill in the number 1 there behind the negative symbol, and you will be distributing a negative 1 to each term. That negative 1 will just flip each term to their opposite. Same is true for number 2. Put a 1 behind the negative symbol, and you'll distribute that negative 1. Please go to problem number 3, and let's look inside the parenthesis. If you look at the single x sitting inside the parenthesis, we know that we should add a coefficient of 1 in order to make our multiplication easy and accurate. You will be distributing the loss, the negative 3, to each of those terms, tripling the amount, but flipping each term to its opposite. Pause the video and practice these 6 problems. When you're ready to correct your work, turn the video back on. Please pause the video now. Let's check your work. Give yourself a C or a star if you did the work correctly. Give yourself a check mark if it's incorrect. Number 1, negative 2x minus 4. Number 2, negative 3x plus 5. Number 3, negative 3x minus 6. Number 4, 6x minus 8. Number 5, negative 8x plus 20. And number 6, 15x plus 10. Please make sure you mark your problems. This packet will be collected, and I will be checking to see if you're completing the work that I ask you to do. This concludes the video for page 4.